capitalism. Here's what capitalism is not distinguished by, and therefore is not useful as a definition: markets. Slavery has markets. It's a different economic system. Feudalism had markets for much of its history.
Wait, I thought slavery, I mean, it wasn't even in slavery they had a capitalist economy. The problem was they were just selling people, which was the bad part.
That's not a
Well, I guess what he's doing in one of the debates I listened to with him, there was this lady there. I don't know who she was. And she made this really bizarre argument. And maybe other people make this argument where they say capitalism is markets, which that's not true. I don't even understand how people can make that argument. There could definitely
capital formation, right?
Right. There could there's been markets for goods long before capitalism, under feudalism, under all sorts of systems pre-capitalism. There's always been markets. So I don't understand that argument whatsoever. But so maybe that's what he's trying to address here.
Okay.
Definition of capitalism that's unique. Capitalism doesn't uniquely have markets. That's silly. Free or controlled markets, which is all we've ever had in the world, the controlled kind, are as old as Plato and Aristotle, who argued over markets. By the way, both of them opposed markets and thought they were socially destructive institutions, just for as a footnote you might be interested in. But capitalism is unique in one way. It's not a system that's unique in its markets. It's not a system that's unique in its quote-unquote free enterprises. Those are as old as Methuselah. But here is what's unique. Earlier systems, for example, slavery. Or
is free enterprise old as Methuselah? I don't know if I agree with that one.
Yeah.
Free enterprise. Where did free enterprise exist in the world?
Most of this
I guess
came
I don't know
with the
how
Magna Carta, right?
I don't know how he's defining free enterprise.
Yeah.
Because before democracy and capitalism and
you
all
had
stuff,
an aristocracy that granted monopolies to their subjects. It's kind of the same thing that's going on in China.
Right. Or even if you didn't have an aristocracy, often you'd have these like this mercantile collective, which would have a monopoly on whatever the goods and services was. And if you tried to form a business outside of them,
they'd say fuck off.
They would like kill you. They would physically come and smash up your shop and kill you. They prevent you from being competition. So I wouldn't call that free enterprise. I don't know. Maybe he considers that free enterprise.
Yeah.
Organized the of goods and services around a dichotomy, a slave and a master. The master
let me go back.
Slave unquote free enterprises. Those are as old as Methuselah. But here is what's unique. Earlier systems, for example, slavery, organized the production of goods and services around a dichotomy, a slave and a master. The master owned all the equipment, all the means of production, and including the worker himself and herself. He owned them. And that was a very unusual way of organizing things, but it existed for a long time. Did it have markets? Often. Did it sometimes exist without markets? You bet. Then there's feudalism, radically different.
Oh my God.
No master, no slave. Nobody's anybody else's property. But you know how that works? You have a small group of lords at the top and a mass of...
Is that even true? I thought feudal serfs were sort of considered property.
Yeah. I mean, they worked the land. They weren't allowed to leave.
Yeah, like I thought, like because I don't know. I mean, maybe they use some different word, but I would conceptualize.
My land produce stuff.
Yeah, I would conceptualize like if you're a lord who inherits a castle and its lands, and you get all the people who work those lands, and those people aren't allowed to not work the lands.
Yeah,
I don't know. I consider that property. Maybe that's just me, but
they would tax them. They would say, "Listen, the tax is 1,000 bundles of rice. You bring them to the castle next Friday, or you're fucked. Come down and burn your village down."
So, and remember, guys, the question he's saying, this is what capitalism is, and now he's explained the slave master dynamic, He's explaining the feudal lord serf dynamic. This is all we're trying to figure out what the definition of capitalism here is. Okay.
This is idiocy. I can't believe this guy wanted to debate Jordan Peterson.
I know. Oh my God.
Serfs at the bottom. And the way the system works is that the serfs switch.
Did you notice Lance was so happy that he got a shout out there when he said serfs? Lance totally perked up. He's like, look, it's my branding. It's perfect. Poor Lance. Poor Lance. One day he's going to grow out of this stuff.
One day.
Swear loyalty to the Lord, and the Lord in return to the serf. And the whole thing is sanctified in Europe by the Catholic Church. And then let me finish. Then comes
He's
capitalism.
like, when are we going to get
it's
to
not
the
a master
fucking
and a slave.
definition?
It's not a lord by the Catholic Church. And then let me finish. Then comes capitalism. It's not a master and a slave. It's not a lord and a serf. It's a completely different arrangement. It's a contract. It's an employer and an employee. They don't swear anything to one another, and neither owns the other one. But they enter into a contract in which the employer says, I'm going to give you a wage at the end of the week. You're going to give me your brains and muscles for these hours of these days. And that's a deal we're going to make. And that's how we organize production. That's the distinction of capitalism. That's what I mean by capitalism.
So
he means employer-employee relationship.
Yeah, first of all, this is insane. So Richard Wolff, big time, big smart socialist professor, he's first of all defining socialism his own unique way. It's just being things with co-ops, but also you could be capitalist and be a socialist. But also his definition of capitalism makes fucking no sense. His definition of capitalism is just having a boss.
Yeah, employer-employee relationship. No, I watched another debate. This is a big thing. A lot of socialists believe that the employer-employee relationship is immoral, and they want to make that illegal.
Of course,
yeah.
It's you're extracting surplus labor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but even people that say that extracting surplus labor is immoral, I've never heard any other socialist say capitalist is defined by having a boss. That's it? That's your definition of capitalism? You have a fucking boss? What kind of insane concept is that?
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's not totally useful, that's for sure.
Well, it's because, and this is why, Richard Wolff is a man shrouded in deception.
Oh, okay? Yeah.
Whether it's intentional or not, I don't know.
Here.
Right. Maybe he accidentally stumbled into this with his elephant brain. But everything he's setting up here is like peak deception. Okay. So he's got all his different definitions of socialism so he could keep bouncing between all of them, even though they're all completely different from each other, radically different from each other. And one of them is just capitalism. So he has that going. But then when you ask him to describe capitalism, what does he do? He doesn't just say, well, it's having a boss. No, he says this, oh, well, first there's this slave master dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dun,
the
dun,
slave has to do whatever the master says. And then, then we
pull your pants down, slave.
And then
I want you to dance.
We have this feudal
naked.
lord. We have this feudal lord serf dynamic. Oh, again, we have another dynamic between a power lording over someone, telling what them to do. And look, I'm not saying that's capitalism. Wink, 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 wink. Totally. I'm not saying slavery is the same as capitalism. Wink, 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 wink. But then we have this other thing that seems almost exactly the same because of the way I'm framing it, where you have
pull your pants down, worker.
You have an employer, you have a boss, and an employee relationship. And that's what capitalism is. And that's why I'm saying this is so dishonest. He uses complete emotional manipulation.
Totally. That's all he does.
Pull you down this path to be like, okay, I'm defining capitalism as basically someone telling you what to do. That's capitalism.
It's so sad.
Oh.
Doesn't the worker extract surplus experience?
Sure, we could say that. Or the worker's extracting profit from or money and resources from the boss, the capital owner.
And surplus experience.
I mean,
that they're taking with them.
Yeah, like that's the whole concept of this. And look, obviously, I agree that currently, right now, I do think labor is too disadvantaged.
Mm-hmm.
But the concept, in theory, and was in the past, is that if you want to work at a restaurant, say,
mm-hmm.
You can't.
Do you have experience? I don't.
Well,
want
no,
you
but I'm
to,
saying,
I don't want to hire you if you don't have any experience.
Like, say you want to work at some say you want to work at some fancy restaurant, okay? Being a chef at a fancy restaurant. Okay?
Well, what kind of experience do you have?
Right. Well, even saying we'll say that you have experience. Okay, we'll just grant the experience. Okay?
No, you got to get that. You got to earn that experience, man. You got to extract the surplus experience from your previous employer.
No, but it's like,
otherwise you don't get it.
Like, what is the person who wants to do this do? Are they going to buy all the equipment required to manage a kitchen? Are they going to buy a building and a location for people to come to? Are they going to hire all the employees that are also required, to work with them, because one man can't do, or one woman can't do this all by themselves? Okay, and then they have to establish themselves as a brand and a name that people trust and rely on, because, that's why people go to McDonald's and Burger King and all this other crap food, is because everyone knows what they're going to get when they go there. It's, reliable. This is why this drives me crazy. And Philosophy Tube did this whole thing too with his, how come when I'm serving someone a beer that costs 8 pints, I get paid 4 pints? Like, it's like, okay, because there's all this cost that's going behind the scenes that you're just too stupid to conceptualize and think of. It's not just your physical labor. There's actually all this other labor going on behind the scenes that you're just waving away is not important.
Insurance,
again,
nobody
all the
wants
insurance
to
money, because if someone slips on a puddle and they sue the restaurant, what's going to happen?
Nobody wants to deal with that garbage.
Zoning laws, property taxes.
What happens if I fall out of my chair on this live stream? What is my recourse?
But it's just, how can anyone take
this guy seriously? That's the question.
My definition is capitalism is having a boss.
Why do you think we're mystified by this?
Amazing.
This whole thing is mystifying.
This
guy is too old to be this dumb. I don't get it. I mean, I was this dumb when I was 25. That's just ridiculous. This is scary.
I'm going to have all these debates.
This is terrifying.
But this is insane. Imagine you're booking yourself as, I want to debate a bunch of capitalists about socialism.
This guy is
and I'm going to create a completely different, unique definition for capitalism that no one else on the fucking planet is
using. The critical race theory of socialism right here. This is just designed to keep us busy, keep us guessing.
Oh God.
It's so frustrating. Dumb. It is internet gold though. This is
it is internet gold.
It's funny because this guy, Ben Burgess and all the lefties, they
salivate on this guy.
Sam Cedar, they invite this guy on and they're like, oh my God, we're in the presence of greatness here.
Richard Wolff, oh my God.
These comments on the video say it all. They do. What's the number one? The core difference. Wolff wants to educate. Destiny wants to win. No, Destiny just wants a goddamn fucking definition.
I think I'm going to debate all these communists, okay? But I'm defining communist as pedophilia.
Oh my God, yeah, let him defend that one.
There you go. I win the debate. You're defending communism. You're in favor of communism? Oh my God, don't you know that I'm defining communism as pedophilia? That must mean that you're a pedophile. What are you, sick?
I found the perfect comment. 400 likes. Is Destiny's ego so big that he thinks he understands economics better than Richard Wolff? Oh my God. The list of people who understand economics better than Richard Wolff is inexhaustible. It's literally millions. It's millions of people who have never heard of economics.
If not billions. Yes.
Oh my.